Dude, have I ever told you that there's a big chunk of the population that eats kiwis whole?
This podcast is canceled.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. I'm your host, Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by the lovely Allie.
What is up?
What is up, friend?
I think Goomba Cat wants to be on this episode because, right when you started talking, he started meowing at the door. So... little bonus content.
I'm joined, as always, by Allie and Goomba Cat.
Oh, man, this morning when he wanted me to feed him, instead of meowing aggressively and very loudly, he just started, slamming himself against my hand to pet himself. And I was like, actually, this is a lot more pleasant if we could switch to this.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's awesome. So like I was talking to Allie about a little bit pre-show. Megan just hopped out of bed with the motivation to make some sweetbread this morning.
Yeah.
And, she whipped up a piping hot loaf.
That sounds gross.
Oh, that sounds so gross. That totally sounds like a turd. Yeah, it wasn't a turd.
Good.
It was really good banana nut bread. So we had a couple.
I don't ever put nuts in my banana bread. I should.
What?
I like banana nut bread.
It's so okay. So my family, normally there's like two types of people.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm putting people, if I'm speaking too broadly.
There may be a third type, but go on. Because Jesse's family does something weird.
Okay. So normally you're going to either fall into a texture group or taste group.
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my mom and I are definitely texture people. So I will literally put walnuts on a sandwich to give it texture.
He's been doing that lately. He's been putting walnuts on everything because it just gives it some crunch.
Yeah, no, exactly though. I mean, I fucking love it, man. Like a turkey melt with you put walnuts and melt the cheese on it so it keeps the walnuts in place, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! It'll redefine your sandwich game.
Man, well, I don't know where I thought you were going with it, but his family puts cream cheese on their banana bread.
What?
They won't eat it without cream cheese. I made it one time, and when Jesse and I were dating, and he's like, okay, where's your cream cheese? And I was like, the fuck? What? What are you talking about? This is banana bread.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, time out. I left the bagels at home.
Yeah, I don't.
I brought banana bread.
Yeah. Also, you're welcome.
Yeah. No, I have never heard of putting cream cheese on banana bread.
And his family thinks it's totally normal. And I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, hell, I really want you and Jesse to hang out around my parents more because I just want you to see the eccentricities of the Bradley family, and we just take it in stride. And then, I mean, it's like, putting cream cheese on banana bread. It's like, wait, what? You do something else? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. But most of the time, it really comes out, obviously, when there's more of us around. So, but Megan used to accuse my brother and I of almost having twin speak.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
And
Jesse and his sister are like that. When they had a house together when he and I were first dating.
Yeah.
And I would get irritated when I hung out with the both of them because I don't know all your inside jokes that you guys have had literally your entire lives.
Yeah. Well, and that was what a frustrated Megan is. She was like, "But this is the thing. You guys don't have an inside joke. It's like you just created this joke, and nobody gets it except for you guys."
Yes. That's exactly it. Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, you're totally right." Like, but anywho, well, now that the world is kind of opening up slowly.
It's starting to feel a little more normal.
Yeah, did you get into anything this past week?
No, not really. Like, I can't remember if I've told you this because I've texted with a couple of friends this week and just been like, I am so apathetic. Like, I don't care about anything right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm mad about that because I want to care about stuff. Like, I have piles of books that I want to read.
Yeah.
And none of them are appealing right now.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to watch anything. Like Friday night, I just watched hours worth of short videos on YouTube because nothing appealed to me.
Oh, Missy, do I have a show to recommend for you?
Oh man, I'm excited. Okay. Full disclosure to the old Tether gang that's listening.
Yes.
Jesse and I and Daniel and Megan video chatted Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just kind of shooting the shit. And Daniel's like, "Oh, I gotta tell you about this show." And Megan's like, No, you gotta wait till the podcast. So like all weekend I've been like, what show is it?
Yeah. So this is probably not going to come as that big of a surprise to some of the listeners and stuff because I hopped on Netflix, and now that they have, which I've not. I guess I most of the time when I hop on Netflix, I already know what I'm going to watch, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this past week, we got on there, and I was just kind of perusing, whatever.
Yeah.
And they have their top 10 list now.
That's new. Yeah, that's pretty new.
And so I was like, what's trending at number 1?
Oh God.
Too Hot to Handle.
Is that the horny people?
Yes.
Yes, I was hoping that's is it good?
Dude, it is a fucking trash fire.
Like, is it so bad that it's good?
It is, yes.
Hell yes.
I would say, I would put it up there with, like, Instant Hotels because you immediately fucking loathe everybody on this show. And then it's like, there's no way I could hate anybody more.
And then they
pull some shit, and you're like, "What in the flying fuck? Like, get out of here!" And they're all just like, it's like when they cast this show, they're like, we need people with personalities that go up to like 11 on a 1 to 10 scale, and it's so incredibly over the top and just like, it's just insane, but
Good.
But
man,
yeah,
I didn't even think about that. That one was like, it was on my radar for a minute and then I just forgot about it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's so bad. Like I just pulled it up on IMDb to like see really, what the world thinks. And it's sitting at a 4.5 out of 10.
Ouch.
And a little over 3,000 reviews. So.
How many episodes have you guys watched?
We are up to episode, let's see, they have 7, and I think we just finished 5.
Oh hell, you're in it.
So yeah, we're in the throes of it, man, for sure. But
is it like extremely embarrassingly horny?
Well, it's just one of these things that I guess I don't get it because I'm not like, I don't like walk outside and see, whatever, some kind of like bag laying on the ground and want to fuck it, So it's like,
listen, I am ready to kink shame you if that is what you want to do.
Have you ever seen the subreddit, well, there's 2 subreddits. One is mildly vagina.
No.
And then the other one, mildly vagina, is basically people will post pictures of things out in the in the world that mildly look like a vagina.
There's kind of like a running meme where people will post that and say whatever it is will be like if it's a bagel, they'll be like, this bagel better chill.
Yeah.
So I totally know what you mean.
Well, and there's another one, and I think it's called "Don't Put Your Dick in That" or something
Oh
like that.
God.
And it's like it's whatever. It's basically ratcheting up a couple levels from the
Oh my
mildly
God,
vagina.
mildly
So.
vagina is amazing. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it really is.
Oh God.
But
Okay.
yeah, so I'm actually putting this on the recommendation list for entertainment.
All
Now,
right.
I am going to have a caveat that if you don't like mindless shit that literally you potentially will walk away from with less functioning brain cells than when you before you saw it. If you're not into that shit, then fucking run the opposite way. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I
if
think
you
I think it's basically people that are looking to fill the hole in their heart that finishing up Love is Blind left.
yes
A lot
yes
of people are watching that now.
yeah, I could see that. I could totally
Oh
see that.
man.
But some of the fun shit about this show, first of all, the so of course they're on like this whatever, I can't remember where, but it's like this amazing resort kind of, looking place.
Right. So
And
everyone's in swimsuits all the time, probably.
yeah,
Yep.
which I think I was gonna say maybe I think maybe like a couple dudes have worn shirts occasionally, but that's about it.
Oh,
Um, but the funniest thing is they're being monitored constantly by supposedly this thing called Lana, and it's like they basically have like Google Homes or whatever the Amazon Echoes in
yeah.
like every room or in every space,
Yeah.
so that this thing can like talk to them. And I think that they were basically lured in under the premise that it was going to be like real world, just on this island or on this island resort kind of
Oh
thing or
man.
whatever. And so they
Yeah.
were just going to have to be around and do whatever and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And then 10 hours into it, they announce, hey, you're not allowed to have any kind of like, basically, other than hugging, because I
Yeah.
think they allow hugging. But other than that, like, you get penalized. And so basically, the way that it works is they have a $100,000 jackpot that is divided equally among all the contestants at the end.
Okay.
But if you fuck up and you like kiss or have sex or this, that, and the other, then they deduct money from that jackpot.
Man.
So just to give you an idea, which this was fucking insane to me, but like, of course, they have to fuck up or it wouldn't be a good show.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sorry, I misspoke, or it wouldn't be a show.
It's not a good show.
No, it is not a good show. But like a kiss was $3,000 deducted.
Oh shit.
I was like, holy shit, which I don't think anybody's fucked yet. I was trying to remember. I mean, most of the time, this is like.
Wait, so how many contestants are there? Like
I
how
think
many
it was
ish?
8. I think it was 8.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but
That's like it doesn't seem like a big prize.
no, it doesn't.
And how
But I
many
mean,
days are they on there?
that's a good question, actually.
Hmm.
I think that I think it's like, what, like 7 weeks, I
Oh
guess.
geez. Okay. Okay.
Or like maybe 2 months or something around there, because
Yeah.
I know that they do deductions. Oh no, they do deductions nightly, I think.
Jesus.
I don't know. Hell, we watched that Extraction movie, and I've already pushed like the vast majority of this show out of my mind. It's so terribly great. So
You gotta finish it now.
oh, 100%. Like this will be, yeah, we will be finishing this probably this evening. So
Yeah. Good.
and
good.
I hopefully I can come back and be like, yes, it ended terribly and it's a terrible show. Go watch it. So, but so that kind of brings me into the other thing that I was going to recommend, this Extraction movie.
Yeah.
That actually your husband told me about.
Yeah,
So,
he stumbled across it, or I don't know if he stumbled across it or if he planned to watch it, but he watched it. Yeah.
yeah, and it was actually really good. Some of it I didn't really, I don't know. It was, I don't know. I compare every action movie to, I feel like, John Wick these days, and that's really hard to live up to that.
Right.
But it's that same kind of like really gritty, very violent, action stuff. Basically, the premise, I went ahead and pulled the synopsis or whatever, but a black market, and by the way, Chris Hemsworth is the main dude for anybody that wants to check it out.
Yeah.
A black market mercenary who has nothing to lose is hired to rescue the kidnapped son of an imprisoned international crime lord. But in the murky underworld of weapons dealers and drug traffickers, an already deadly mission approaches the impossible. So, it was good. He has to, the body count's high. It's fun. So, but yeah, so those are my two recommendations. I've also been plugging along on that 20,000 Hertz.
Yeah.
Oh, I did want to talk about one of those.
Okay.
So, and then we'll get into the meat of it because I don't want this. Yeah, we're looking at. Yeah. Anyway, we need to actually get into the episode. So,
dude, everybody is looking for content to absorb right now. Absorb? That's not.
What? It's okay.
What the fuck even am I trying to say? Content to devour right now.
Devour.
I don't know.
There you go. Sure. Consume. How about that?
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
So 20,000 Hertz, for anybody out there that doesn't know what it is, it's basically a podcast that they do like 15 to 30 minute episodes on, the history of sounds and like very, sounds that are, a lot of people are very familiar with, but you don't really think about anything past, oh, yes, it exists and I know what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was this, so they talked about, in this episode, it was Dolls That Talk, and I believe it was, I think it was episode,
it's 10. I've got it. Yeah, 10? It's number 10.
Okay, cool. So, episode 10. And no shit, I have yet to come by and I started from the very beginning. All their stuff has been fantastic. So
yeah.
But anyway, so this was like a history of talking dolls, which doesn't sound that interesting, but dude, apparently Thomas Edison was like one of the first people to make a talking doll kind of thing.
Whoa.
And my God, it sounds demonic because they have an audio clip of it.
Do they talk about Teddy Ruxpin? I just need to know.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
great.
They do.
And they actually, and even as a kid, I was like, this fucker's creepy.
Oh, dude, they talk about, so real quick, the Edison talking doll, which I think was actually the name of it, it kind of freaked people out because obviously there's this inanimate object and sounds are coming out of it, or a person's voice is coming out of it,
Yeah.
So nobody wanted to touch trying to make a talking doll after he attempted it until the 1960s. And then they created this doll called the Chatty Cathy. And I just thought this was a really fascinating detail or whatever. But anyway, so the Chatty Cathy doll, it was like a pull cord, or what is it called? The thing that when you pull the loop on the back.
I think it's called a pull cord. I don't know.
Whatever it's called. But that's what style of doll it was.
Yeah.
And so they, the manufacturers of the doll, they hired this voice actress, and she had some pre-recorded stuff, and that was what ended up in the doll.
Yeah.
Well, very shortly after that, the Twilight Zone employed the same fucking voice actress to do a talking doll episode that like the doll comes to life and like starts threatening people, and they got the same fucking actress.
Oh God.
I was like, holy shit. I can't imagine watching that Twilight episode or Twilight Zone episode back then. And then like your kids got that fucking doll and you're hearing that voice. I was like, holy shit. But then they go on to like this doll that was called like My Friend Kayla or something like that. I had never heard of it. But anyway, so this thing was like basically had privacy concerns.
Yeah.
Because it came out in like the like mid-aughts.
Yeah.
And it connected via Bluetooth and like all this stuff, and like had all these like security issues, and like it actually recorded kids, and like it could send that information. Like it was, dude, it is. Look it up on like the on Wikipedia or something.
Yeah.
I think it was called My Friend Kayla, and it is just like, well, me being the person that I am, it is my nightmare, like, to have that in my fucking house. So
yeah, no, that's creepy as hell.
But anywho, it looks like it's high noon because
the train's here.
Train's here.
Dude, I was at my aunt and uncle's house like last summer, and we were hanging out outside, and a train went by kind of in the distance, and my uncle like looks at his watch, and he's like, "Oh, the 8:22," and I was like, "Oh, you like know the schedule?" He's like, "No, I'm just being ridiculous."
The 8:22.
Totally got me, though.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh man.
Oh shit! All right. Well, do you got any recommendations or anything, or you just want to hop right in?
What do I have to recommend? Man, I don't know. I've been I can't even concentrate like much on like podcasts. I cannot listen to an audiobook right now. I've been reading The Heart's Invisible Furies, which is like really funny, but also has some like really just like devastating, heartfelt moments in it. Like 60 pages in, I gasped and I almost cried, and I was like, okay, I'm not ready for this book.
Oh wow.
But no, it's really funny, and it follows this guy like through his life and stuff, and I don't know, I'm like 250 pages in it right now. It's like 700 pages long, but it's really good, and it's written really fun, and like everybody says that the book's amazing, and I'm already, I get why, but
yeah.
I also just like, I just can't read right now, so I'm just trudging along through it.
Oh, dude, I know. Like, honestly, I think that's why I gave up like entertaining books currently, and that's I moved on to that. I think it's called On Food and.
Oh yeah.
What is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's by Harold McGee, and it's basically like a textbook. Yeah. But it's written, in my opinion, really well, or easily digestible, because it's like little paragraphs.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things like that. I'm actually, there's one on my shelf that I can see right now that I bought recently. A People's History of the United States, which is a beast. But
yeah, that sounds like it.
It's got great reviews, and I think it's written like, it's not like one novel. It's like a bunch of shorter stories, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, so this, I mean, I haven't even gotten, like, I think it starts whatever on page 7 or something, and I think I'm on like page 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's also like teeny text.
Oh,
like two or three columns per page kind of thing. Like, and then, but it's like, oh man, it's fantastic, because like he's talking about right now, he's talking about how, which I didn't even realize this, about 40% of European or people of European descent are actually lactose intolerant. I'm sorry, lactose tolerant.
Oh wow!
40, so the majority of people of European, and I think it's like Western European descent or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But it's like the majority of people that are from that are descended from Europe are not tolerant to lactose.
Jeez.
And I just thought that was pretty amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, that's wow.
You don't really think about that.
Yeah.
You know. But the crazy thing is, and I'm not going to nerd out too hard, because I know that some people dig this, some people don't. But But apparently, you're born with the highest amount of lactase, which is the enzyme that breaks down lactose.
Oh.
And you're born with the highest amount, and then from day one, it's just decreasing, and then it like whatever bottoms out at like, I don't know, I want to say like, 4 years old or something like that.
Oh, geez.
So,
okay. I figured it was. Like, I was waiting on you to say like age 30 or something.
Oh no! I mean,
wow.
like it's like most adults, dairy is not good with them. So
yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It's just it's basically like statistic porn and stuff. So and just like diagrams and shit. I just eat it up because I think that honestly, if you can understand cooking and food and stuff to that extent, you can be a better chef.
Oh, sure, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, but
like if
anyway.
you get why things work together, you're going to be better at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So 100% would recommend it. It's called On Food and Cooking, the Science and Lore of the Kitchen by Harold McGee. Cool. Really, really fantastic book. So, yeah. Another suggestion for you. All right. So where do we want to go from here?
Man, I want to tell you my Danzig story.
Please.
This story is old, and every time I remember it, I just crack up. And maybe it's not that funny, but I love it. So, I got this from a website called Metal Injection, and this dude posted this story to Tumblr. The Metal Injection story is from 2011. I don't know when the Tumblr post actually was. But it's old.
Okay.
But this guy just had an instant message conversation with his friend. And I'm just going to read most of his friend's part. I cut a couple little pieces, but okay. So this is it. Dude, Danzig lives next door to me in LA, down the street, and he's the worst neighbor ever. I have Danzig stories, like one awesome one. Okay, so here it is. Danzig lives in this shithole house near me in Los Feliz, about 100 yards down the street. His house is super run down, except he's got this crazy Jaguar in the backyard. So he has this huge pile of bricks in his front yard, and the house looks like an evil Pixar house. So anyway, his neighbor was like, dude, Danzig, you're bringing property values down with these bricks in your yard, and Danzig was pissed. Yeah. So back and forth with this neighbor and Danzig, and finally one day I see Danzig outside in his front yard, and he's hurling bricks into this dumpster, and he's screaming, here I am, motherfucker, just cleaning up my fucking bricks, bitch. Just super loud to no one in particular for 2 hours.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Also, I learned this week that Danzig is 5'3", which is tiny.
5'3" is not very big.
Not for a grown man.
Yes, I would agree.
I texted a friend of mine that I hadn't talked to in months, and I just said in all caps, here I am, motherfucker, just cleaning up my fucking bricks, bitch. And my buddy was like, I missed you, how have you been?
Oh, that is awesome.
If I just hear the name Danzig, I think about him and these bricks and I lose my shit.
That is fucking incredible, though.
I love it. I'm picturing it. I'm picturing one of my neighbors doing it and how I would just be like in tears laughing at that. Oh my god.
Oh, that's amazing. Jesus. Oh my god. All right. Well, so I've got a super crazy story about a family in Nebraska.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember if we talked about this or not. I'm pretty sure we didn't talk about it on the podcast, but I don't know if I mentioned to you.
I saw it on the document, and I don't think I know this story.
Okay. Well, buckle up, because
all right.
What the fuck? So this is I pulled this just from a Nebraska like local news place. family members accused of abducting Nebraska boys to teach mother she was a bad parent.
Huh.
So, let's unpack this a little bit. So, first of all, this is so the step grandfather and grandmother of 2 boys in Nebraska have been charged after authorities say the children were abducted in an attempt to teach their mother a lesson. So it was a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old that were abducted.
Poor kids.
Dude, yeah. But this is where it starts getting somehow weirder.
Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just going to... I can't summarize this any better than it's been summarized. So, authorities say the boy's step-grandfather, 30-year-old Tanner Likelighter...
Wait,
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me just read that one more time. Authorities say the boy's step-grandfather, 30-year-old Tanner Likelighter. What? Who the fuck is a 30-year-old grandfather?
Dude, you know some trash people. You could be a 30-year-old. I'm not knocking you. Like I grew up with trash people.
No, but I'm saying that I do know trash people, and I still don't know a 30-year-old grandfather.
I know some that are like friends of people who are like, because I mean, if you had a kid at 15 and then that kid had a kid at 15, that's.
Yeah.
I mean.
Jesus, that is just well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I ain't gonna judge. So
I'm here to judge.
I'm here. Yeah, that's why we work well together. We can only have one person judging at a time. So yeah, this 30-year-old Tanner Likelighter, he took them with the help of their grandmother. Okay. The grandmother allegedly kept the boy's mother inside against her will at a Tacoma, I don't know, motel where several family members were living while Likelighter took the boys.
Okay, so at least they're with someone they knew. Like,
yes.
It's still not, not good.
So this family lives in a motel.
Uh-huh.
The grandmother took the mother and is literally kidnapping her because she's being held against her will.
Yeah.
And the boys are taken by their 30-year-old step-grandfather.
How old's the grandmother? Did it say?
It does not say.
Oh, bad reporting.
Yeah, honestly. Now that you mention it, it does not... That was not revealed. So.
Damn.
So anyway, they put out like an Amber Alert, and the authorities found the car that was listed under the Amber Alert, and then they actually found a gun in the car, which obviously ramps this up a little bit more. But there wasn't really a whole lot past that. It was just.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that it's like, that is, well, the world is a fucking crazy place, and apparently there are 30-year-old step-grandfathers out there, so.
God.
Just insane. But anyway, so they're, Likelighter is facing several charges, several state and federal charges, and he's going to be extradited back to Nebraska to go to trial and all that jazz. So. And then the grandmother is getting hit with charges for obstruction and aiding and abetting. So, but nobody was hurt. The police said that the kids seemed to be unaffected mentally, physically, all that jazz kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I just thought that was an absolutely bizarre story.
Yeah, that's some garbage. Like,
yeah.
I hate when people do shit like that just to like when you involve the kids to try to teach someone a lesson.
Yeah.
No, that sucks.
No. Yeah, exactly. There are so many people out there that bring children into this world and then forget that you kind of got to put them first.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, oh, well, maybe the mother isn't doing exactly, doing the parenting which, they don't really talk about
Like what their real reason for it
yeah,
was.
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, there are procedures in place for if you think that someone is, whatever, neglectful or, having their kid in an unhealthy environment kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like go to
So,
the authorities. Don't try to teach them a lesson your fucking self.
yeah, yeah, it's just insane, dude. Absolutely
Damn.
insane.
Yeah.
Kind of sticking on the insane story vein. I wanted to cover this one. This is kind of a short one also, but God, fucking bad guy, fucking Florida parents. Florida parents caught selling free meals from school.
Man,
So,
like, is it sad that that doesn't surprise me?
you know, no, I think it's just one of these things that it's like, since I'd say stories like this aren't really covered a whole lot,
Yeah.
that it's like you kind of forget that really shitty people exist.
Oh, yeah.
And then this,
Yeah.
and then this story happens.
Yep.
But basically what was happening was, let's see, the Hillsborough County has like 147 sites that they have like free food that they'll hand out once a week, and they allow families to come by and get it. And they basically said that these families were going to a bunch of different sites
Yeah.
and getting like a shit ton of food and then taking it and selling it on like social media sites like Facebook Marketplace or shit like that. It's like kind of insane.
Yeah.
But they said the district said people in at least 50 cars went to multiple locations to receive free food, and then it appears they sold the food on social media platforms for a profit.
Wait, so this is a big group of people. This isn't like
Yeah,
one family that got
no,
caught.
no. This is yeah. Well, I mean, they said at least 50 cars, so I would think at least
At least 50 people.
different, yeah, at least 50 different families kind of thing. Well, at least
God.
50 people. That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, which is insane to me that you have that many fucking people doing that. But then you also have, those douchebags that bought, 14,000 bottles of hand sanitizer at the beginning of all this shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, man, the douche. I'll tell you one thing. It's really funny. Really big events like this pandemic stuff that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
It really, what I feel like it puts two different groups like way in the front.
Yeah.
It's like the heroes and the fucking villains.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
these guys would definitely go under the latter category.
Dude, I had to kind of stop looking at like good news because that sounds terrible. Because a lot of it was stuff that like it's good news sort of, but it's really twisted. Like
Yeah.
there was, I think I told you about that like 7-year-old kid that was like getting supplies from hotels and sending them to hospitals for people that needed them. And I'm like, yeah, that's good on him, but like that's something that should have been done without this child having to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so there's so much like dark undertone to a lot of the stuff that's good news right now.
Well, and honestly, you have a really good point that I think that this is really showing that well, obviously we were not prepared for something like this.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one of these things. It's like schools that fail to have like practice fire drills, and then they
Yeah.
actually have a legit fire,
Yeah.
and kids are screaming. Not they don't get kids out in time, or not.
Yeah.
Don't get kids out in time, but you know what I mean. Like I know that they
Yeah.
shoot for like whatever full evac or 100% evacuation in like 5 minutes or less or something like that.
Right.
And it's like after 10 minutes, they're still trying to like whatever corral kindergartners outside or something
Yeah.
like that. So I think a lot of shit is going to be kind of put in place after all this, I guess, looking at the silver lining of this situation.
Yeah, I mean,
and people
I hope good comes out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully people will be a little bit, more prepared and all that jazz. But anywho.
Well, kind of on that note, were you done with that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. It was just douchebags going around, food banks and fucking reselling it. So
yeah.
That's your your TLDR.
Well, sort of on that just note of just awfulness related to the pandemic. I saw this article on Mother Jones where wellness influencers are spreading QAnon conspiracies about the coronavirus.
Great.
Good. Also, I had this flagged to cover before Trump had his big "let's inject disinfectants" quote this week.
Yeah.
But so this seems especially fitting, but like this did come before that.
Yeah.
Wellness influencers are just a group of people that I just want to yeet them into the sun. Like, please do not give health advice out as an Instagram influencer. Like, can you fuck off?
Dude, anytime I hear influencer, I have an irrational,
just a rage.
Anger.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. It's an automatic eye roll and like maybe a little teeth gritting.
Yeah. And it sucks because there are some decent influencers and there's some people that are just like I follow a lot of like book accounts and I'm sure those technically like the big time ones would count as an influencer, but like they're not out here telling you to like eat some flower and cure your cancer. This is a different thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're not out here saying to buy this diet fitness tea. Like,
yeah. Speaking of that, quick tangent. Megan, I think that she was kind of just helping out a friend. A friend has some kind of like health and beauty business that she's trying to get off the ground.
Yeah.
And so Megan bought some kind of like, I don't know, internal cleanser kind of thing that it's like basically pulverized kale and some other shit.
Yeah.
And oh my God, dude, watching her drink that shit in the morning makes me want to absolutely vomit everywhere. It literally looks like gutter water. Like it does not even look remotely appetizing. So, but anyway, sorry.
No, that's funny. That's awful. Well, so some of these people are saying that this flower, forsythia, is a treatment for COVID-19. And you might know that flower as a major plot point from the movie Contagion.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I clicked on this one.
I was going to say that sounds really familiar,
that's
but
why.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was a big time thing in Contagion. Yeah.
God.
Like this one girl, I clicked on her account to see like because they linked to her about forsythia.
Yeah.
And she's some kind of holistic bullshitter out in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And her post was like a close up of the flower and it's pretty and it's yellow and whatever. Mm-hmm. And like skimming the caption and she's like, yeah, forsythia is known to be antiviral and protect against stuff like SARS, including COVID-19. And generally you use the fruit, but I would think you could also use the flower. And I'm like, do you even hear yourself? Those are just like, oh.
It's like, well, normally I only drink a glass of milk, but you could probably drink a gallon. It's not a big deal,
Or like, you could just eat the glass too when you're done. Yeah. That would work fine. It's all together. Yeah.
Do you eat your do you peel your milk before you eat it?
No, I eat the whole container.
Yeah. Me too.
Dude, have I ever told you that there's a big chunk of the population that eats kiwis whole?
This podcast is canceled.
Hi.
What? No, that is not how shit works.
Like how you just bite into an apple? Like that, but with kiwi.
Mm-mm.
And like, fine. Okay, you know how like people say all the nutrients in a potato are in the peel? Like, the peel's fine. I like the peel.
I like,
The kiwi is furry. What
yeah.
are you doing?
The texture, no, I
I'm
cannot
not
do
even
that.
weird about texture stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
not eating the furry skin on a kiwi.
Dude, I know that I talked about that, and this just randomly popped into my head
Yeah,
because weird dietary stuff.
sure.
I know I talked about that one girl that I knew that was anorexic on
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
She did this thing that literally she would eat the entire apple.
Oh, like
Like
the core and everything.
core,
I've heard of
literally
that.
the only thing that she didn't eat was the stem.
Like, I feel like I would eat the stem way before the core.
I just I
Actually,
I
no, I would not eat either.
that's my I mean it's I mean I'm sure that you can, but it's one of those things. It's like, have you ever stopped to think, should you? Not can you?
There's a lot of things you can do. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Ugh.
But
Okay.
yeah.
So this Forsythia, back to all this shit.
Yeah.
So the gist of this whole article is that there's these hippie people, mostly on Instagram, who tout this like holistic medicine and shit like that. And now they're also just peppering in some conspiracy shit from QAnon. They
God.
got a lady who is legit, who is a licensed psychotherapist. Her name's Azeda Ghaffari, and she basically like tracks the pseudoscience community on Instagram and the alternative medicine community and stuff.
Yeah. Pseudoscience.
Yeah.
I love it.
And she said, this is unlike what she's looked at before. You would assume these hippies are progressives, but there's this faction of ultra conservatives, some of them Christian, mixed in with anti-vaxxers, mixed in with health and lifestyle people. And like, yes, some of the health and lifestyle people are good. Like, there can be positive things. There can, you can post and be like, bragging about how healthy you are and how you have a six pack and it's because you eat raw vegan. Fine, sure.
I didn't think you'd see that first.
Regret to inform you, the queso that you inject directly into your veins is not raw vegan.
Oh my god.
Man.
Wait a second, I gotta do another line of queso.
Yeah, man, like there's just so she says these people have latched onto these wellness holistic spaces and they use scientific language, but then they layer the pseudoscience on top of it. So it sounds like they know what they're talking about because they use these certain expressions that make sense, but then the other bullshit.
We covered something kind of similar to this previously. Well, just in the sense of like how they present their argument. They'll use like buzzwords and stuff that are used in like medical writing.
Yeah.
In order to basically give I think we talked about this a little bit with the goop stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That it's that they're and I can't remember off the top of my head what kind of phrases and words they are, but like
oh yeah.
It basically They present this thing that, like you said, it has next to zero, my God,
like
evidence that it's actually effective.
Yeah,
and then they use these, they use these phrases and buzzwords that people are like, oh, it's going to do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly.
I think I've seen that elsewhere.
But anyway, because they sound smart, people trust them.
Exactly.
So they talk about this one lady. Her name's Rose Hinges. That's a weird name.
Yeah.
She's a Christian mommy blogger and a YouTube creator, and she's got about 80,000 followers on Instagram. And she talks about QAnon shit. Like, one thing she has about... She says that the deep state planned this as a real pandemic to distract from supposed plans for children who have been farmed and are living underground. What?
What?
And you're a Christian mommy blogger? This doesn't sound like your brand.
My God, does she also have like multiple personality disorder? Like, what the fuck, man?
And that's like right beside posts about holistic living. There's a guy named Rashid Battar who has 10,000 followers on Instagram, and he's really big on alternative medicine. And he's been charged by the North Carolina Medical Board for unprofessional conduct after charging exorbitant fees to cancer patients for ineffectual therapies, including 3 patients who died.
Jeez,
and he's been pushing fringe theories about the coronavirus's link to 5G and that it was intentionally engineered to spur crackdowns on civil liberties.
Even though I fell down and I'm not saying that I'm accepting it as even remotely accurate.
No.
But I fell down the 5G causing coronavirus rabbit hole the other day.
Do you want to tell me a little about it? Because I've really avoided it.
But that's the thing is there's literally there's nothing.
Okay.
It's literally just people that don't want this 5G stuff rolled out, which in all actuality I don't see how it's would even be financially feasible for any of these cell phone companies to do that, because by going to that wavelength or whatever wavelength it would require like cell towers or at least like transmitters and all that stuff to be like within something like a half mile of each other or something like that.
That would be so many.
There would be one everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, and so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But but dude, it was just. I mean, it's just a bunch of people fucking like yelling on soapboxes.
Yeah.
Absolutely nonsensical shit.
Yeah.
So.
And the end of the article just kind of was that lady saying like, it's natural to be a little skeptical about the medical community, like, because certain groups have had trouble at like Black people have not historically had a great time with our medical system, stuff like that. But
sure.
These are mostly well-off white people in these influencer circles, and they're just they feel out of control. They don't know who to trust, and it has manifested in this manner, is what she says.
I wonder if there's some kind of psychology behind this, that it's like people are like, oh yeah, I'm down to accept this to almost like fit in with a group kind of thing.
Maybe.
And I mean, I'm literally just like spitballing, because I have nothing to support that, but like, it just makes me wonder, like, what, like, so I get the being driven away from conventional medicine.
Yeah.
Because you had like a really bad experience.
Yeah.
I understand that aspect of it. But like you said, it seems like a lot of these people, it's almost like they're just like, oh, well, this looks cool. I'm going to try it.
Yeah. Like they're just, I think a lot of it is just people wanting attention.
Yeah.
And they don't even care if it's negative. Like they don't care if, well, honestly, that girl that I looked at, all her comments were positive. And she very well might be deleting the negative ones, probably. Yeah. But, like, she had a lot of comments that were positive.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's just absolutely bizarre, dude.
Yeah.
Absolute. For Cynthia. My God.
Just eat this flour, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Which I meant to say that. So we're going to be launching our Tether Radio merchandise store this weekend. We have extracted for Cynthia concentrate.
Yeah,
that's
we just
our
made
number one
tinctures.
seller.
They're fine. They're good. They're legit.
They're legit. Don't listen to the other influencers. They don't know what they're talking about. No, we're not influencers. We're podcasters.
Which is way, way above an influencer.
Yeah. It's at least like, what, two rungs on the hierarchy ladder?
Have you seen that Amazon can't keep podcasting mics in stock right now because everyone has decided to start a podcast?
Oh, that's hilarious, dude. My God. Well, I'm glad that people are buying new mics, because I feel like I've run across a shit ton of podcasts that like they're unlistenable because the audio quality is such trash.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of surprising,
I'll
to
be
be honest.
forgiving right now when people are
Hmm.
doing weird shit because of the quarantine, but
Yeah.
like when you're a normal podcast and you sound like shit, like what are you doing?
Well, and something else that was really fascinating that No Agenda was talking about
Yeah.
was you know how like all of these not TV shows, but all of these celebrities and stuff, they're doing stuff from their homes
Hmm.
and like whatever, using whatever mic setups and stuff
Yeah.
that they have there. The audio quality from the vast majority of the shit that like has been broadcast from homes has been terrible.
Yeah.
And I would think that they could reach out to somebody to at least get them a decent setup in their house.
Yeah, like swing by and drop me off like a boom
Yeah,
mic that I can rig up.
yeah.
I don't know.
Or what anything. My
Yeah.
God, like give them email them a guide on how to make your shit not sound like trash.
Yeah. And there's a
Like,
ton of people that are just YouTubers that'll tell you
mhm.
like what setup they use and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll do a whole post about it, you know?
Yeah, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense,
And
but
plus if it's somebody just stupid rich, like
yeah.
you know they can afford to buy a $200 piece of equipment that'll help, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Just to drown out the sounds from their yacht's motors.
Oh God.
All right. So I want to talk about this thing that this is really not that big of a deal, but something was mentioned in the Reddit comments,
Yeah.
and I was unfamiliar with it, and so I just like learning shit, and so
Yeah.
I'm going to do some teaching today.
All right.
um, so I pulled this one from the New York Times. Chicago bans horse-drawn carriages starting in 2021.
Okay.
So, yes, there's not a whole lot of meat to this, and let's be honest. Horse-drawn carriages. I think the last place that I have been that they had horse-drawn carriages was Memphis,
Hmm.
and it didn't seem like people were like beating a fucking trail to like line up to get in the horse-drawn carriages. So
It seems like a very like fancy Southern wedding thing.
yeah,
Actually,
I
I,
could see
I
that.
went to a wedding that included a horse-drawn carriage, and it was laughable.
So you just made me think of a wedding that I went to.
Oh God.
That they wheeled everybody from the outdoor facility to actually hold the wedding
Yeah.
to the reception hall
Yeah.
on a hayride.
Oh no.
And I cannot, I'm like really, my skin is like insanely sensitive and I have really bad allergies.
Yeah.
So like I'm having to fucking ride on these hay bales and like my eyes are watering and I'm sneezing and I'm like, it was fucking miserable.
But
Like
the
it
bride
really
needed to
was.
feel like a princess, and that included a hayride for all of her guests.
Yeah. My God, can I walk next time? Just tell me where I'm going. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, so basically what has happened is like PETA and these the humane treatment of animal, whatever organizations and stuff. They've been battling for this for a while.
Yeah.
And they've basically kind of just said, okay, we've gotten to the point to where there's not really a demand for this, or at least if there is, it's a teeny demand.
So they're not really quitting it because it's bad for the animals. They're quitting it because it's bad
Well, no,
economically.
so ultimately, yes, it is for the animals, but I would say that a supremely large contributing factor is just the fact that there's not a whole lot of money to be made
Yeah,
in it.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so basically what they're doing, and they're not just like pulling, they're not just saying, okay, hey, you no longer can do this shit. They're getting to the end of the year, and they're just not issuing new licenses or renewing licenses.
Yeah.
So, and they said that like I think they only had, they have 10 licenses currently. So I mean, it's not like a fucking booming business.
Right.
And that's down from, I think they said that at its peak they had maybe like 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I was like looking through this and all, and somebody in the comments section on Reddit mentioned something known as the Great Horse Manure Crisis of 1894.
Okay, I would absolutely click on that.
Thank you. So I am going to go ahead and take some wind out of my own sails and say there actually was not a great horse manure crisis of 1894, which made it a little bit more fascinating to me because I was like, well, why the fuck is it named this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so basically what it was is a notion in urban planning which stated that the greatest challenge of further urban development was a difficulty of removing horse manure from the streets.
Okay.
So, and I'm literally reading this from the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
More broadly, it is an analogy for supposedly insuperable extrapolated problems being rendered moot by the introduction of new technologies.
Oh.
So what it was is they were using this as an example of, and this is just a fabricated thing or whatever. And they said that basically the problem of excessive horse manure collecting in the streets was solved by the proliferation of cars, which replaced horses as the means of transportation in big cities.
Yeah.
So they were saying that originally, the reason that it's called the Great Horse Manure Crisis of 1894 is the fact that they were like, oh, well, in order to remove the horse manure, we'd have to bring in more horses because automobiles were not around. That will shit more, and then we'll have more manure. So it was like this cyclical thing that it's just like, all right, we're going to be, because they said, here we go. The name refers to a supposed 1894 publication in the Times, which said, quote, in 50 years, every street in London will be buried under 9 feet of manure.
Oh, no.
But I was just like, I've never heard of this thing, which obviously it's not like I'm do a whole lot of urban planning. So, but apparently this is like a big enough thing to where it is used as an analogy for like people not taking into account that an advancement in technology is going to solve the problem out.
Right.
But I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Huh.
But
that's pretty cool.
But yeah. So but I was really hoping when I clicked that it was just going to be like, there was shit everywhere.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Road apples everywhere. Have you ever heard them referred to as road apples?
I don't think so, but I hate it.
Like I said, I grew up on a farm, so we were around a lot of animal excrement. So, which... Real quick side note, now that I mention it, that was when we originally moved out to Granger County, the previous owners had the most eclectic collection of fucking animals that like and I guess I didn't think it was weird at first.
Yeah.
But thinking back on it, I'm like, what in the fuck was going on?
Like, why do you need an emu?
Well, dude, they had one donkey, probably about like 8 or 10 goats.
Don't donkeys have a purpose? Isn't there a reason people have one donkey?
Yes, because I think when you mate a donkey and a horse, you get a mule.
Okay.
And so you would have to have, but mules are sterile, so they can't reproduce.
Right.
So I would think that if you wanted to create mules, then you'd have to have one donkey.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only reason that I don't know if that's actually it, but
don't donkeys like guard cattle or something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Really
That's a good point. I don't know. But anyway, so one donkey, like 8 or 10 goats, probably about 10 peacocks, and then like, you know, some horses, some cows, and like, when I say like a lot of cats, I'm saying probably 30 cats.
Whoa.
Kind of thing that were always fucking. And so there were just always kittens. And we would just find litters of kittens around the farm. Yeah. It was weird. But I remember that my dad fucking hated the peacocks because
they scream.
Like, dude, first of all, they scream. Second of all, he'd come outside and they'd be on his fucking car
They're
shitting
always
on
on
it.
cars, yeah.
Yeah. And so he'd come out and there'd be like peacock shit all over his car. And he's like, those damn peacocks.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I don't even know why I was talking about that. So,
I don't know.
my God, dude. I think I just have like early onset Alzheimer's or something.
Our tangents are real lately.
Yeah, this is just one of those other examples of just like not being able to like really stay focused and
like we just turn into stream of consciousness.
Yeah. I do have an uplifting story that's pretty awesome.
Great.
Actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you a shit story, and then I'm going to tell you an uplifting story. So.
Okay.
I'm going to take you on a roller coaster of emotions, listeners.
Perfect.
So I pulled this one from the Star Tribune. I don't know where that was out of, but it's regarding a farmer in Minnesota.
Okay.
Egg demand shifted and 61,000 Minnesota chickens were euthanized. Yeah. So
Can't we eat those chickens?
So they didn't just throw them away. They actually euthanized them, and they're currently being made into dog food. Okay. So I guess it's not being wasted, but
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So with this shift, and the funny thing is obviously if you've been to the grocery stores and stuff, I know some grocers are struggling to stock eggs. Yeah. I haven't had any trouble finding eggs personally.
But I've seen them be out a couple times.
Mm-hmm. My parents said that the Food City near them, they didn't have eggs the last time that they went. But
yeah.
But anyway, so with this shift, a lot of these food product or whatever animal byproduct food distributor kind of stuff. Like eggs, dairy, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. With this shift in demand, with restaurants closing and all that jazz, they basically just have this surplus, and it's going to either spoil or and they still have to feed these animals and keep them alive. Yeah, or they can do what these people decided to do or whatever, and just basically get rid of their stock. But excuse me. This was kind of gross, to be honest, because I mean, and it makes sense, but dude, I don't know why, but like food on mass scales is disgusting to me. Yeah, yeah. Like they were talking about how this company. They normally handle 800 million eggs a year and send containers of fluid egg to food service companies across North America. Ugh. Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is fluid egg? And then I was like, oh, probably like egg beaters-ish kind of stuff.
Yeah, right? Or I guess eggs would probably travel better if you're gonna scramble them anyway. You might as well scramble them and put them in a liquid container.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Yeah. And it just makes me think of like pouring out scrambled eggs out of a gallon container. Ugh. Which literally, that's how I feel.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Yeah. I remember so when we did our retreat in Gatlinburg for the pharmacy fraternity that I joined. Yeah. Like it's our national retreat, and I don't know how it ended up in Gatlinburg, but I mean, we're talking about, we rented out, I think this one cabin rental company had like maybe 75 cabins or something like that, and just our fraternity had about 60 of them. God. And so, I mean, it was literally, we just took over a mountainside for 3 days kind of thing. Yeah. And it was super fun and wild, and how we literally stayed drunk the whole time. But but since the first year students had to do cooking in the morning. Yeah. So like, which I didn't mind because I just love to cook and stuff. But I remember we had cases of like egg beaters. And like by the end of the morning shift, I was like, dude, if I go 3 lifetimes without seeing another fucking egg,
Yeah.
then it'll be too soon, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just so disgusting because it was just, I mean, you're cooking food for like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's see here. So basically, what ended up happening is you have a shift in the demand for all this stuff, mostly restaurants, and the avenues for distributing for, I guess, private use in the sense of like groceries and stuff, is very, very different than the whatever logistics for restaurant distribution.
Right.
And so you can't just snap your fingers and say, okay, well, we're going to ship to Kroger now.
Yeah.
Like there's a fuck ton of shit that has to be put in place in order to shift that.
Yeah.
So they ended up having to kill these chickens. And man, it was kind of surprising to me, like, basically these people, they don't own the chickens. Like the farmers that work the chickens and feed the chickens and do all that, they don't actually own the chickens, which was kind of surprising to me.
It's like a sharecropper sort of situation.
Well, so basically they like people will buy people, and I say people, companies will buy a fucking slew of chickens, and then you will pay this contracted farmer to get them to produce, feed them, take care of them, get them to produce eggs and sell the eggs, kind of thing. And so, but they were talking about this the family that was interviewed or whatever, the Mergens. They made 15.5 cents per dozen of eggs, and they normally produced about 4,500 dozens of eggs. Fuck it, whatever. 4,500 dozen a day.
Yeah.
So I did a little number crunching, and basically that amounts to right around $21,000 a month.
Jeez.
And I was like, and I'm assuming that when they say they made it, I'm assuming that would be profit.
That's how it's worded in my understanding.
Right?
Yeah.
So pretty. That seems like a pretty lucrative business in my opinion. Jesus.
Damn.
But anyway, so but this guy basically said, we knew that the supply was changing, but we figured we would at least be producing until the end of the year. Yeah. And he said that this contracted whatever euthanizing group just literally showed up and started killing the chickens and stuff, and obviously he can't stop them because
damn,
they're not his chickens, kind of thing.
Man,
but it was just pretty fucking gnarly, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be. I know that I've said this to the for a zillion times, but it's gonna be really interesting to find out all of what has actually been affected by the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, I think that we are going to be finding things that have been affected by it, like for the next years. Like, 5 years, we're probably gonna be finding out more stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe not that long, but
hopefully
not that long. But anyway, so
I have a bird story.
Okay, go chickens.
Ahead.
Sure.
This is more of a visual story, but like the pictures are really cursed. There's a story in West Virginia where law enforcement is investigating after residents stumbled upon a bizarre scene in the woods near Lake Sherwood. There's a bunch of dead birds, and the crimes under investigation appear to be environmental in nature as well as animal cruelty. There's dolls with a bunch of needles sticking out of them. And
so somebody came upon an area that there were a bunch of dead birds and dolls with pins sticking out of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
And now they've found a second site of more dead birds and stabbed dolls.
Do they give a scale of like how many birds?
I don't think so. It just says a second scene of dead birds and other odd objects was discovered in another town. And the photo gallery chronicles the objects left behind. These were discovered by a man fishing in the area. And again, more environmental crimes probably and animal cruelty, but like it's really creepy.
Yeah.
And there's a sign that's got a lot of blood on it, which I'm sure is from the birds, hopefully. But
Yeah.
it says circle call, and then it's got a bunch of kind of glyphs that almost look like Zodiac killer shit, which, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's creepy stuff. And then
What?
it's weird, man. And there's like a broken iPhone in the middle of it. And there's another sign that says, "We are something and we see all." And it looks like it's written in blood. There's like a couple like pentagrams.
Do they know how the birds were they poisoned, or do they know anything about how they were actually killed?
I mean, what I read was basically the whole story. Like that was pretty much it, but like the birds are, I don't know, they're spread kind of like, I want to say, in like ritual looking stuff.
I mean, that sounds you mix dead birds that look like they've been placed in some kind of pattern.
Yeah.
And dolls with pins sticking out of them.
Yeah.
My mind is definitely going to some kind of ritual.
It's really creepy. Click on it and see what you can observe of the
Here we go.
There's another sign too, and it's all weird glyph looking things, I think. There's some maybe letters mixed in, but not enough to make whole words. It's creepy.
Yeah. So basically, it's on like a picnic table.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah.
And like, I mean, this is definitely a setup scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like, which I don't know. Man.
And if you scroll on down, there's scenes from the I think first set.
Yeah.
Where you can see more birds in that one. You can right click and open the images in a new tab, and they open really big.
Okay. Yeah, and like chicken feet, bird feet cut off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to read that thing. We are many and we see all.
Oh, okay. That sounds like anonymous bullshit.
Yeah. That is just...
I want to know more about this.
I just don't get it.
Nah. Dolls are having a big week, man.
Yeah, no shit. This totally looks like some kind of... Either it was made to look like some kind of ritualistic thing, or it was legitimately,
I think it's probably fake. And it's probably just trying to be like, oh no, there's Satanists out here.
Yeah.
But like, it sure is creepy.
It is pretty strange, I'm not gonna lie. And plus, I don't know. I don't know, that's just weird. There's like candles, and is that rice that's thrown out?
Oh, yeah, that is rice.
I don't know. Maybe
and then
that's how the birds died.
That's it. You fed them rice, they exploded.
Fed them rice, and they exploded. I always loved that. Like, I mean, which now, granted, I think that actually does happen. That like their stomachs will burst.
Yeah,
but like
you'd have
obviously,
to feed them a lot of rice, right?
Well, I mean, that's why they don't let you throw rice at weddings anymore.
Yeah,
it's because birds would eat it, and then they'd like. I don't know. They'd have some kind of issues, but I just think of like throwing rice at a wedding and birds coming down and eating it, and then like they go drink some water and they're just flying around somewhere, and it's just like pop. Oh, no. I'm like, oh no. but
God.
yeah, dude.
Um,
But yeah, that's
isn't it creepy?
I'd say off-putting,
Real
to say
creepy.
the least.
I don't want to come across dead birds that have been fucked with. Like, no.
No, no, I definitely wouldn't want to stumble across this scene. So, but we'll let the listeners come to their own conclusions
Yeah.
because this will definitely make it into the newsletter and show
Yes.
notes.
Yes.
So,
I've got
let's see.
one it's not anything creepy or negative. It's just kind of like psychological stuff I wanted to kind of talk through.
Sure, let's do it.
You found that article from the Atlantic this week about how it's weird to like end any kind of online socializing that we're doing right now because our
Yeah,
usual excuses don't work.
yeah. I got to go to the
Yeah.
never mind
Like,
fridge.
well, like I had a couple of friends of mine and we had a video chat, I don't know, a couple weekends ago we were like, oh, let's get together like 6. And at like 11:30, we're still hanging out. We're like, I guess I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah,
Like, what excuse do you have to get off your video chat, you know? But
yeah, yeah,
my whole point is I don't think you owe people a reason. And I know people
yeah,
think that they do, but just say you're done. Like, don't be mean about
yeah,
it. Don't be like, I'm bored with you. I'm signing off here. But
yeah.
just saying, hey, I'm gonna go is fine.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
this,
mean, hey, case in point, Allie was supposed to hook up with us last night on House Party,
yeah.
and we were just like, I think we're gonna go watch this movie.
And
We'll
that's
talk to you
totally
later.
fine. Like, I didn't like pout about it. I'm like,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, totally, totally.
But
But
like,
no, that is funny though.
yeah, and so this whole article was just people being like, "Oh, well, you can say that your phone is dying, but like, can you? You're at home, you can charge it like while you're
Yeah.
talking, or like you can say you've got to go make lunch or dinner or whatever.
hmm
But like again, you don't have to give people a reason.
I'm just one night that we're on House Party. I hope I'd make it like to like 11 or something. I'm just gonna. And I know that if I'm on House Party, I'm probably going to be drinking.
Yeah,
So,
if you make it up till 11, you're gonna be drunk.
yeah, I'm just gonna like look at you guys and be like, I gotta go make lunch. And it's like, dude, it's 11:30. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, my friend just texted me that said that they fucked up and already ate lunch, and they're like, "It's 11:30. Shit." And I was like, "Time is a myth. Eat when you want."
Yeah, eat when you're hungry, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to like eat before or after work or
Yeah.
before or after anything.
Yeah.
So,
So, but
but
that
yeah.
made me see. I saw this thing that was kind of going like I don't know. It made the rounds on a few different places I saw online.
hmm
It was this big post from 2007. I don't know why it's getting all this traction now,
Yeah.
but the concept is people who are askers versus people who are guessers. And pretty much you can sort people into those two types.
hmm
So the premise of it was there's this post on ask.metafilter, which I think is just a variation of ask.com. I don't know.
Yeah.
This guy said his wife had a friend from like high school and she's kind of aggressive about stuff. And she was
hmm
coming into New York City where they live for like,
hmm
I don't know, 2 weeks or something. And she asked if she could stay with him. And you could tell she was pretty much assuming they were going to say yes.
Yeah.
And he'd never even met her, but like his wife wasn't even really close with her. And they just didn't want her to stay with them.
Yeah.
But he was having a really hard time coming up with a good excuse. And like
Yeah.
people in the comments were just like, just tell her no. But people think that's so rude. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so like, I don't know. I think it's very much a personality thing. But there was this one really good reply that really got traction.
Yeah.
And it said that in some families, you grow up with this expectation that it's okay to ask for anything at all, but you have to be aware you might get a no for an answer. And those are askers. But people who are guessers, you avoid putting a request into words until you're pretty sure the answer will be yes. So
Huh.
that depends on a lot of like shared expectations and stuff.
That's interesting.
So then people who are guessers feel really like angry and uncomfortable and manipulated when people who are askers just straight up ask them for something.
Yeah.
And if you're an asker, guessers can seem incomprehensible and passive aggressive. And I just thought this was
Huh.
so cool. Like, more people in the comments were like, my mom is this one and my dad is that one, and I never knew there was a term for this, and it's so crazy to have to treat them differently when I'm asking the
Yeah.
exact same thing of both of them.
Wow, man, that's wild.
Yeah, like one person said their mom would like she didn't want you to ever directly ask her anything, so you could
Hmm.
just say like, I have a thing I need to be at on Friday at 5 p.m. And she would say, I have something going on right then. Instead of you saying, can I have a
Hey,
ride? And her
yeah.
saying, I can't right then. And like, but their parents were divorced and they spent a summer with their dad. And their dad was like, why don't you just damn ask me for a ride?
That's I do have to say sometimes Megan and I will get into whatever a tiff
Yeah.
because I feel like she sometimes will do stuff like, "Oh, the trash is full." And I'm like, "Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do you want me to take the trash out?"
Yeah. Are you just
Like
saying it
just
out loud while you're
yeah.
thinking you need to go take it out yourself? Or are you asking me to take it out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's kind of which I mean I don't know if that really falls under the
I
ask or
think it kind
guess
of
or kind of
is.
stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's just like I'm a excuse me. I'm a I don't know, I'm a very literal person.
Yeah. I feel like I'm pretty direct about stuff.
Yeah. And so it's like okay, you know, if I whatever if I, you know, hell, I don't know. I was trying to think of a decent example, but like, well, for instance, like whatever, you guys are down at the Pine or something, you want to swing by and get your chili jar thing, you
Yeah.
know, and you're
Yeah.
like, hey, can we swing by or whatever and get that or whatever?
Yeah.
And I mean, if there was an issue, then we would have no problem being like, hey, we're either not going to be there
Yeah.
or you know whatever. Now's not a good
Yeah.
time, or
Yeah.
you know, and it's everybody is fine
Yeah.
because I feel like expectations have been managed, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I think the four of
But
us communicate stuff pretty well, but
yeah,
Jesse is a lot more passive about stuff. Like
uh,
he'll more be like, I'm at the pint and
hmm
think that you guys will be like, hey, swing by the house. And I'm like, no, just tell them you want to come by the house. Like,
oh no, really?
yeah, sometimes he'll do that. And like,
Oh
but he'll not
shit.
just
Well,
with you guys, but like with
yeah.
Mike and stuff. Like he'll be like, yeah, I told Mike, whatever. And I'm like, did you straight up ask Mike, do you want to have a beer? I'll be there at 6.
Well, and see, that's the thing is because I feel like I'm walking this fine line
Yeah.
between not being patronizing
Yeah.
and like, but also, I don't even know. I mean, I've told Megan time and time again. I'm like, look, act like I'm a 5 year old.
Yeah.
Spell it the fuck out for me. Like, and then I know what you're asking and I can evaluate it and give you a good response
Yeah.
kind of thing.
One thing
Instead
in all
of,
this was
you know,
saying, it said
hmm
something like, you can, if you are more of an asker, you can
hmm
give someone a caveat and be like, hey, if it's a no, that's fine. You don't have to give me a reason, but like,
yeah.
hey, do you want to go do this thing? Kind of stuff.
See, I feel like I do that a whole lot,
Yeah, I think I do
especially
too.
asking to like stay with friends like out of town and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's totally cool if this doesn't work out, but would you guys be able to host Megan and I this weekend
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, and name the weekend?
Yeah.
But
But that's also a different approach than this guy had never even met his wife's friend. And
oh yeah, yeah,
like,
I'm
yeah,
not.
that's a whole,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
I dig.
one thing, like, I try, I go out and do stuff on my own a lot.
Hmm
So, like, if I'm going to like the grocery store, Jesse doesn't care. He doesn't want to go to the grocery store, and that's fine. But like right now, because nothing is going on, I'm trying to include him in more. So
hmm
I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to Target. Do you want to go? Because
hmm
that's a little more fun than the grocery store, but I'm getting
Yeah,
groceries.
yeah,
But like, we'll have a whole conversation. Like, usually it's through text because we're at work, and I'll be like, I'm going to Target. Do you want me to go to the house and get you first, or
hmm
like what? And he'll be
yeah.
like, it's up to you. And I'm like, no, but I'm asking you. Like,
Yeah.
so he's like, and then he'll be very passive and be like, well, I like, I don't know, like, I don't really want to, but like, if you want me to, I will. And I'm like, no, I don't care.
Yeah, I honestly don't care. I'm just like
I'm
offering
just
it up
offering.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
we've had that exact conversation, I don't know, at least once a week since the whole quarantine thing has happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which, dude, I'm telling you, I have to say, like, going to the grocery these days, I used to hate taking Finn, but, like, dude, I miss the shit out of having, like, a grocery getting partner kind of thing.
I bet.
Because most of the time, Finn would be, like, happy-go-lucky and
Yeah,
talking about balloons and, you know, whatever, and, like, the different produce and stuff like that, and
yeah,
people are, like, waving at him. Everybody's got smiles.
yeah,
And now it's like you go to the grocery and, you know, everybody's got a fucking mask on. If they
yeah,
don't, then they're like mean mugging you to the point to where you don't want to get within 6 feet of
yeah,
them.
yeah. Like
So,
I'm one of those weird people that really likes grocery shopping,
yeah.
and right now I hate it because
Yeah.
everybody's so on edge.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ugh.
There was I was going to mention something else in regards to this because I think that this is a really fascinating topic to
Yeah, I
me.
like it a lot. That's why I was like, I gotta get to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
But
had
mhm.
a little anecdote myself from this.
What's up?
When I got my first like real job out of
Mhm.
college, there was this guy that worked there and he was insistent on me going on a date with him and I didn't
Uh,
want to.
yeah.
And like he would not take no for an answer. Like he was really demanding that I explain why not.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to give you reasons. Like I told you no and that's
Yeah.
enough. And he would not back off. So I was finally like, okay, here are reasons. And
Yeah.
then he wanted to fight me about my reasons. I'm like, do you get like this is not how to approach
Court
someone
a woman.
that you, like no. And
Yeah.
maybe you're used to different women, but I am aggressive and I will not let you step
Yeah.
all over me.
Oh my God. I would have loved to have been a fucking fly on the wall for that conversation.
It was fantastic. So I was barely 22 and
Yeah.
this dude was like 28 or 29.
Yeah.
He had a kid who was like a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
His hobbies were like fishing. And also, I found out later that he was living with his current girlfriend.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, that
and
sounds like total dating
he was
material.
a great guy, really. And then I found out that he kept asking me to like go for a drink. Like if he asked me on like Tuesday, did I want to go for a drink Wednesday? Why wouldn't you just ask me about Tuesday? Well, that was
Yeah.
because he had a DUI and he didn't have his license anymore. And his girlfriend was picking him up from work. So he would have to go ahead and clear that with her ahead of time.
Oh my God.
Like,
This dude just sounds like a fucking basket case.
he was nuts. So I told him, I was like, dude, I still feel like a child and you have a child. I don't want to date someone I work with, which is funny
Yeah.
because then I married Jesse. Um,
Hey, we all make exceptions.
but like I gave him a couple of reasons and then he tried to tell me how closed-minded I was and how I'd never get anywhere in life being that closed-minded. And I was like, uh, dude, I don't even know you. Like back the
You're like,
fuck
oh,
off.
now I want to go on a date with
Yeah,
you.
like you're right.
Thank you,
have
thank you for
completely
criticizing
convinced
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that guy
Oh,
was
that's terrible.
insane.
No shit. My
Ugh.
God.
He would still message me on like our work messenger every like
Yeah.
maybe once a month or so for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And I make friends quick, you know how I am.
Yeah.
He transferred to a different department, so he wasn't like in our area anymore. And when he would pop up and message me, I would be like, "You guys, he messaged me," and everyone would stop what they were doing and come over and watch our back and forth.
Dude, you just made me think about this girl that I worked with in undergrad
Yeah,
uh, when I was working at a as a farm tech,
yeah,
and like she was really flirty and stuff, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you know, we ought to hang out, we ought to hang out, we ought to hang out," and I was like, "Yeah, maybe in the future, I don't
probably
know,
not.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah," and because I definitely I don't. I'm not very good, or at least I wasn't. Obviously now I would be good at it because I'm fucking married.
Right.
But I wasn't really good at like letting people down
Oh
kind
no,
of
I'm
thing,
kind of
you
the same
know?
way, but I realized real quick the gentle approach was not working with this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah, exactly. And with this girl, it was kind of just putting, well, anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so finally, I was like, you know what? Why don't you come hang out with me and my friends?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. We'll have some drinks. Whatever, dance, all that stuff. We used to throw fucking dance parties all the fucking
I
time.
can so see that. Yeah.
Dude, and I was so I can't remember. Did I tell you in a text or did I tell it on the podcast about the girls that I used to hang out with on campus?
I don't know if you've told me at all.
So yeah, I know. I think I told you about like the basement. In the basement, they had like for some reason they had DJ equipment and stuff.
Oh, yes. I think you told me in real life though.
Okay,
Like not on the podcast.
Yeah, so basically there was a point of probably, I don't know, somewhere between like 6 months and a year that I was hanging out with these 4 girls that lived together down on campus. And I mean, like every fucking weekend
Yeah.
we would get together, we'd get pissed drunk, and then we'd go down in the basement and I would play music because I was obsessed with fucking music. And they had these huge fucking speakers down there.
Yeah.
One of them had access to a fucking smoke machine for some reason. And then I think the same girl had access to one of those like laser balls.
Oh God.
And so, dude, we would get in this room that was probably, fuck, man, I don't know, maybe like 20 by 15, something like that. So it wasn't like a huge room or
No.
anything. And we'd shut the windows, shut the doors, get the fog machine going, so that it was like you were tasting the fog juice
Oh
because
my
it was so
God.
thick. And like we would just fucking have dance parties until like 2, 3 in the morning. And I swear to God, it wasn't like some weird like orgy thing or whatever.
Yeah, no.
It was legitimately like we would just be pissed drunk
Yeah.
fucking dancing kind of thing to like all sorts of shit. I remember Lady Gaga was like heavy rotation at that
Oh my
point.
God.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so coming back to this girl, wow, that was a hardcore tangent. I took that girl over to party with these other girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was probably, I don't know, 3 years my junior, something like that. And so she gets over there and she starts like slamming shots and like I'm like, oh no, this is not going to end well. And so we ended up like only hanging out for like a couple hours, and then she just ended up being wasted.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I need to take you home? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I probably need to go home. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to run her home real quick and I'll be back.
Yeah.
So she gets in my car. We make it halfway there and she just fucking vomits in the floorboard of my car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, come on, dude. I was kind of, have you ever heard the phrase, and I hate to use this phrase directed at a person, but no good deed goes unpunished. Like, it was one of these things that I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a nice guy. I'm going to, whatever. This girl seems like she doesn't do a whole lot
Yeah.
on the weekends. So I'll take her out, whatever. We'll have a fun time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then she vomits in my car.
Yeah.
So needless to say, it was very awkward for a couple weeks at work because it was just like one of these things that like, she was very apologetic and like, of course she wanted to try to clean it. And I'm like, dude, the last thing I need is your drunk ass
Yes.
wiping vomit around in my car.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? No. I'm like, I'm going to take you home. I'm going to go home and I'm going to wash my car. But yeah, so yeah, it was one of those, I guess, ask her or guess her kind of thing. I don't know what it would fall under, but it was just one of those, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah. So
Ugh.
just remember that phrase, no good deed goes unpunished. So but anyway, so do you have anything else in regards to the ask or guess or stuff?
No, I think that was pretty much it. I just thought it was cool to talk it through.
Yeah. No, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
love
do too.
psychology stuff.
I really don't believe that most of those things where you like put people into like every type of person is either one or the other. Like, no,
Yeah.
there's usually a spectrum of stuff, but like,
Oh yeah.
but it's still neat to talk
maybe
about.
leaning toward one or the other,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Like spectrum.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got one last one that this is just kind of a quick just I don't face palm. I don't know, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I pulled this one actually this morning. $500,000 bet on rock paper scissors ruled invalid by Quebec court.
Man.
So, this guy, which
Man, I'm
I
gonna,
just
I'm
think,
gonna say, without knowing anything else,
yeah.
I think it should be allowed. If you want to bet your money on stupid bullshit, go for it.
Well, so not only that, but like, how many times have you made some fucking silly bet? And like, obviously, you know, it's like, I bet you $1 million you couldn't, you know, throw this quarter and hit that seagull or something like that. I don't fucking know.
Please do not throw change at birds.
That was actually what happened. It wasn't a ritual. It was a competition.
Oh God.
But anyway, so but how many times have you like made some kind of stupid comment like that, and it's like,
Oh, dude,
and then the person actually does it?
I do that to Jesse like once a week. Like I'll be
Yeah.
like, I will bet you, like something bizarre. Like
Yeah.
I'll bet you my spare room that
I thought you were gonna say like a ham sandwich or something.
and then he'll be right and I'll be like,
Yeah.
well, we didn't shake on it.
Yeah, exactly. But this was just funny for a couple different reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, I feel like it needs to be mentioned that this is happening in Canada. If you think anybody's going to follow through with a fucking bet, it's a Canadian.
What? Really? Is that a thing?
No, but they're just so nice all the time.
Okay.
It's just like one of these things, they're not going to cross somebody.
No.
Which is really funny because I used to game with two Canadian dudes that I met through another one of my friends.
Yeah.
And damn if both of them weren't some absolute assholes. They were definitely the exception to the rule. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Edmund Mark Hooper basically played a $517,000 best of 3 rock paper scissors game.
That's a weird number. 517.
You know what? I completely agree. This is the crazy thing. So he lost, and this was in January of 2011.
Oh God.
So yeah, so he actually took out a second mortgage.
Oh my God.
To help like pay this debt to, and they don't mention anything about who he's paying this to.
Like,
so
please do not bet things that you don't have the means to give.
well, I'm just trying to figure out who the fuck is going to bet, honestly, any large amount of money on rock paper scissors.
Oh, dude, people love to bet. Like, I did a casino boat one time,
Yeah.
and my friend and I were like, okay, we're just only gonna play, I don't know, like $75 and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
And so we were just like walking around killing time, and there was this dude on the roulette table, and he was like, ladies, like just this dude playing, and he was like, tell me what to bet, and we were like, we don't even know how this works. He's like, pick a color and pick a number. So we were like, I don't know, black 13.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, 20,000 on black 13, and we were like, huh?
What?
And so like they do it, he loses, and I'm just like, oh, this is the part where like they break my kneecaps or something. Like I don't know what I just walked into. He didn't even care. Like he just like shrugged it off and like made another bet. People are insane. And this was a bullshit. This was not a high roller casino boat. Like this was a little bullshit rinky dink thing off like Myrtle Beach.
Dude, so
people bet on anything.
I have a somewhat similar, not $20,000, but somewhat similar. And the funny thing is it was roulette
Yeah,
also.
man. Roulette is where people put their real money, and I'm like, the odds are way against you.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I think the best odds are craps, right?
I have no idea.
I think that, I mean, and I don't know why or how that is, but I just, for some reason, I remember hearing
It
that.
just feels like
Or it's either that
throwing
or maybe
money
like
away on a
blackjack or
game
something.
that's just chance. Like if
Yeah,
it's like poker or something, you can be good and you can
yeah.
bluff and whatever, but like just a game of chance, I cannot imagine.
Well, so down in Tunica,
Yeah.
when I went down to Tunica, Mississippi, because I lived in Memphis for a little
Oh
while,
yeah.
and I literally took
Yeah.
$50 with me.
Yeah.
And sat down and had a fucking blast.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fun.
Oh yeah.
But so there was this Asian dude that comes over, and we referred to him, since we didn't know his name, as Boss Tanaka.
Okay.
Because, well, so Boss Tanaka is from oh my God, Kill Bill.
Oh, okay.
The movie Kill Bill.
Okay.
And so dude rolls up and he's got like a couple people with him, and like he has like the whatever card chip things that are like $5,000 a piece or something like that,
Yeah.
you know? And like he literally has probably, you know, I don't know, maybe like 3 of them or something, and then in addition to his chips. And so he's got maybe like, I don't know, like 20 grand total, you know, in chips and stuff. And he just rolls up and like takes like 2 of them or whatever, 2 of the card ones, and throws them down on like red. They roll, it's black, and then he gets up and leaves. And I'm like, I am so not that person.
Well, like how long
That,
do I
like,
have to cry about that? Because that's a lot of
yeah,
money.
I mean, and to be gone, just like that,
Just instantly.
yeah. It's just, it's absolutely bizarre.
Ugh.
But anyway, luckily enough for Edmund Mark Hooper,
Uh-huh.
Quebec law stipulates that for a wagering contract to be valid, it must be related to activities, quote, requiring only skill or bodily exertion on the part of the parties, end quote, rather than to chance.
Wow.
Furthermore, the amount wagered must not be excessive. So
I love bullshit laws that are so open to interpretation. Like
yeah.
excessive, cool, great. That's very clear.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, what they decided was the judge, the Supreme Court Justice Chantal. Oh my God, I'm sure it's some kind of French Chatelain or Chatelain or I don't know. He ruled that. Sorry, I was trying to make sure. She ruled. Sorry,
Yeah.
she ruled in certain precise circumstances, and this is a quote. Call upon the skill of the parties, particularly, and this is in regards to rock paper scissors. So I'm gonna start over real quick. The game, she ruled, could, quote, in certain precise circumstances, call upon the skill of the parties, particularly in the speed of execution,
Oh my
the
God.
sense of observation, or the putting in place of a strategic sequence, end quote.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
dude, this woman rock, paper, scissors.
Dude, imagine putting that much time and effort into going to law school and becoming a judge.
Yes. A Supreme Court justice.
And you have to rule on fucking rock, paper, scissors validity.
Jeez. Wow. But anyway, so she was like, no, honestly, this might actually stand. And then they came to the $517,000, and she said that is ruled as excessive.
Well,
so it was thrown out.
Wow.
But I just thought that was it was a lighthearted article. I can't believe that somebody would one bet that amount of money on rock paper scissors, 2 actually feel the need to uphold the bet.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just like, I mean, it couldn't have been. Are there rock paper scissor competitions in casinos?
I've never heard of one.
So I'm assuming that it would have to be some kind of private setting, right?
Oh yeah, I would think that was just
they're
a
doing this, so
friendly
it's just kind
type
of like
of bet, probably,
yeah.
right?
Jesus,
There's
that's just
there's a
insane.
website where you can bet on like anything.
Oh really?
I can't think of what it's called. It's pretty big though, and like especially people bet on like political stuff. So like,
oh wow, really?
It's pretty interesting, I thought.
Huh, that is interesting.
So there's probably somewhere online that you can bet on rock paper scissors.
Oh my god! But yeah, so that's pretty much all I got on that one. And that's I'm funny. Glancing at the time, and I think we've been
rambling.
Think we're about there. Yeah, we've been a rambling. So yeah, let us know if you like our rambles and streams of consciousness, or if you hate them. Yeah, and also if you want to hear about any topics in particular. I swear, I love looking into this stuff and trying to get to the bottom of, for instance, the Great Horse Manure Crisis of 1894.
I'm glad we got to lay that to rest.
Yeah,
I'm very relieved. I will sleep better tonight because of that being put to bed.
Me too. But if you want to send any suggestions, thoughts, criticisms, any of that stuff, we want to hear it. And you can send it to tetherradio@gmail.com. That is tetherradio@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at tether_radio. Same damn handle on the gram at tether_radio. Facebook, all one word, Tether Radio, and we also have the Tether Radio After Dark Facebook group. Post some stuff. I kind of want to get some more material that we're getting people to, like, polling on there.
Yeah.
To get people to just talk about stuff that's happening, what you think about, current happenings and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So just want to get a little more engagement. We also have the Tether Radio newsletter that Allie kills it every fucking week.
Woot woot.
Yeah, you can sign up for that at tetherradio.substack.com, or you can go to our Twitter profile and check out the pinned tweet that'll take you straight to the URL to sign up for that aforementioned newsletter. So, this has been episode 98 of the Tether Radio podcast. I'm Daniel.
I'm Allie.
And we are thanking you for lending us your ear for now close to 2 hours.
Whoops.
So, yeah, whoops. So, we're sorry / you're welcome. And, yeah, we look forward to talking to you guys next week. Stay safe, wash your hands, and yeah, looking forward to speaking to you guys next week. Take it easy, friendos.
Bye.